Okay. So what I was just telling everybody, Thea, is that video is probably the most popular form of content right now on the internet, whether it is through something like YouTube or a video that we're uploading, native video that we're uploading to social media platforms. And I was so excited when Thea sent me a video, and I'll actually be publishing it to the private Facebook group at Travel Business Mastermind later today. But Thea did the most extraordinary video about a trip that transformed her, and how she put the images up on the screen, how she did her voiceover underneath it and told this incredible story, was the reason why I wanted to get her on today. So welcome, Thea. How are you?
I am splendid, Richard. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, please. You are everything I love to see from entrepreneurs. Someone who has courage, someone who, like our episode 24 interview subject, Jen Lee, talked about, ability to be vulnerable. You just put it out there and say, this is who I am as a person. This is who I am as a business owner. I'm trying to attract you. So if you got past 30 seconds and you got to know me a little bit and you want to get to know me more, then it's working. And you leave it on the table. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the discussion about video. How did you get to this point in your life? What have you done in the past? And tell us a little bit about your travel agency, Thia's Travel Services.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Thea.
Yeah.
Sometimes I love to refer myself as a third person. So
okay.
you would hear that a lot. Well, Thea's background is a bit of everything, and starting from, family, upbringing, travels. Thea's whole background surrounds going from place to place. And of course, that is from family. Well, Thea is actually an accountant and also a travel expert. But Thea's love for travel has overshadowed everything else that she does. So Thea decided to stick with travel, but of course manages accountancy, bookkeeping, and all of that when travel is not in full force.
Which is a good thing.
Yes, thank you. So in other words, about Thea's from a family of 6. Thea was.
You were born outside the United States.
Oh, yes. Thea is not an American. Well, by law now, Thea is an American. So yes, but Thea was not born in the United States. Thea was born in the Caribbean island, and with family, of course, with African Nigerian heritage, and mother being Jamaican. So with all that being said, Thea is a multicultural individual, and because Thea's family or Thea's parents loved travel and they also did businesses in different places, made them move around a lot. And being, the second to the last child in the family, Thea was opportune to always steal that baby's position to go with the family. So so that's basically my a nutshell of my upbringing and background. And what was the next question?
Well, first of all, I wanted to ask you, when did you find yourself falling in love with travel? How young were you?
Oh my God. Oh my goddess, like I like to say. Falling in love with travel has always been in me as a child. I just I think because of the way I was brought up, the restlessness has always been there to go and see other people, speak other languages, learn their language, hear about their culture. So I've always been restless and eager to know those things. I mean, as a matter of fact, I speak well over 7 languages.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I, I do. I do.
I
Yeah.
share, I don't share the language with you because I know a bit of Italian and a bit of Spanish, and that's about it. But I share with you that restlessness. I have always known that I was a restless child and that seeing other places was something that was a passion of mine. So you're an accountant. How old is your travel business and why did you start it? How did that come about?
Well, first of all, it was when I was in London, in England. Oh no, let's go back a bit more. When I was in Germany, I I had a couple of restaurants in Germany, and I opened up my first one, which was an Afro-Caribbean restaurant, and I saw different people come in there, didn't care about what it was about, just different cultures, different people, Germans, Italians, the French, everyone, Africans, Caribbeans, everyone was coming there. And that, and I started thinking to myself, wow, my desire has always been to see different nations in one place enjoying the same thing.
Mhm.
And so, going to school in Europe and being European and doing all of that, I was like, you know what? I already have, as of that time, I had already visited privately over 30 different countries, so just the thought of it. And then I said, oh, you know what? I think I'm good at this. Let me keep doing it. So I closed up the restaurant. I started talking with a few other people, and I said, oh, okay, this is it now. I love travel. I'm passionate about it. Go ahead and do it. That was basically it. It was just the coming together of different people, cultures, languages, characters, behaviors, just got me so excited about travel.
So you started the business. You know what? I'm going to start sharing now my screen so that we can go over to Thia's YouTube page. So what you see in front of you, as you can see, she's got 1.3 thousand subscribers, 1,300 subscribers to the channel. She's got a bit of a focus on wellness. And you can see that most of her content is based around both wellness and enjoying the cultures. Just like Thia just said, she's really built a ton of content that it's not sort of the typical, here's what a cruise ship looks like. Here's this destination I just got back from. It's, fascinating cultures around Europe. This whole concept of, where was it? How to blend with the locals when you travel. And you immediately notice that Thia's brand comes out powerfully. Did you, I mean, I'm only looking at the first page and I sorted it by popularity, Thia. Did you have other videos that you've taken off of the site because it was not focused around wellness, or has this been the bulk of the type of video that you've done?
Well, this has been the bulk of the type of video I do. I continue to do. I think I have about 34 videos. And by the way, I only started my YouTube channel about 9 months ago.
I saw, yes. So 1,300 subscribers in 9 months. That's pretty darn good.
Thank you.
So you've been building this content. Did you have a plan when you started, or did you just want to express yourself? What was the strategy or non-strategy behind your YouTube page?
Well, the YouTube page was actually birthed during the peak of the pandemic. I started off doing a talk show that Thia called Thia Talks Travel. I started that on Instagram Live. And Thea Talks Travel was focusing on travelers. So the idea was have conversations with travelers like me, because I call myself not just a travel expert, but a travel enthusiast and also a solo traveler. And so I started getting, friends and families and clients to just come on the show and talk about how they were coping in the pandemic without traveling. So that was how the YouTube channel was birthed. Just so I said, oh, you know what? Someone said to me, hey, why is this only on IGTV? Move it over to YouTube. And that was it.
And it's working. I am going to see if I can ensure that when I play the when I share the screen, I want to make sure the audio comes through. Because I want to play for you the video that made such a huge impression on me. So I just want to make sure I'm going to advanced audio, and let's see, this should work. So let's go back, and I want you to see the video that Thea did about experiencing Tokyo. It's her 6th most popular video. Her most popular is about not being able to travel during the pandemic. She's got over 7,300 views there. Solo travel, as Thea just said, 4,500. And then it starts to filter down a little bit. We had a wellness vacation one, but here's the one that she posted about 9 months ago. It's 2.5 minutes. I'm hoping the audio comes through. And if it doesn't, like I said, no matter what, I'll be posting this video live for you in our page. So of course, Google has to get its advertising in there.
Has to have its sponsorship.
About how I went to Tokyo, Japan as a young lady in her early mid-20s. That trip for me, looking back today, was just about travel. It had nothing to do with learning, immersing myself in a culture, or wanting to be a part of a culture. But then, a good 5, 6, 7 years ago, I took a mindful travel, which was not planned, but it was something that I wanted to do different. I made sure that the tour bus itself only had about 10 people. I made sure that it was exclusively visiting local markets, interacting with the people, eating their local food. So I had this organized in a way that we dined in a local's home. With them, we embraced them as mindfulness. We were not just tourists, we were wanderers who were not lost. And how has that changed my life? Tremendously. It's opened up different other kind of mindset when it comes to meeting people. It has allowed me to embrace people, appreciate their humility, appreciate their warmness, learn their language, eat their food, eager to be a part of the community. You know, it's changed my perspective, and I would not want to go back to what I used to do in terms of travel, but continue on this road as an experience, enjoying a journey that is unknown with the people that actually own the journey, which are the people of the land.
I fell in love with it immediately. I think I like texted you almost immediately. I'm like, oh my God, who did this? How did you do this? And before I ask you a question, what I want to try to express of why it got me so excited, Thea, is because I think, like I said a little bit earlier, like you, I've always known that I've had a lot of wanderlust in me. So when my parents were raising our family, and my father used to love to take us on vacations, that was his big thing, pack us up in the summertime and take us to all the crazy places. We only drove back in the day because we had a large family too. But I loved seeing brand new places and tasting new food. And even though I only traveled in the United States originally, seeing people in a culture that was very different from my New York, Long Island upbringing. And so you spoke to me so easily with that video, because you told the story over 2.5 minutes about how you went on this trip. Something happened inside you. It started to transform you. And now the best part of your video as an entrepreneur is you translated it into your why as a business owner, with beautiful imagery and a nice soft music in the background. The animations that you used, something different 6-7 years ago. You used all of the storytelling skills that all of us should learn how to do. How did you do that? Where did that come from? Are you a natural storyteller?
Well, it's funny, Richard, because I think I am. I really do. I really do, because I have had clients tell me when I'm talking to them on the phone, they go, Thea, do you know I can actually doze off while you're talking to me?
Not because you're boring, but because you're soothing.
I thought that's what they meant, but it was different. And I said, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. No, your voice is so soothing. I said, oh,
Thank
I
God.
didn't know. I said, I didn't know that. And so, and that's why you cannot just see see a pudding and say this is how it tastes. You have to hear the whole story, right?
Yes.
So like I had to wait for this client to explain what they meant by they could doze off. First I was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing wrong? But then they were like, and then he even called his wife and said, honey, come and listen to Thea talk to me. And yeah, I would never forget. It was like 4 years ago. About 4 years ago. And I asked my children, I said, how do I sound? I said, oh, your voice is really soothing, Mom. Ooh, okay.
That's one of your superpowers. It's one of your superpowers.
Thank you. And so I think the voice is very important when you communicate with the world,
yes.
People. I don't think it's fair to raise your voice. I don't think, because you're not going to be getting your message across, And so for me, storytelling is so important. Growing up, my mother used to tell me a lot of proverbs, and I have used it every day of my life. Sometimes you would just hear me from the blues say, my mother used to say. And so I think with that, my skill for storytelling continued to to grow and mature, and just being able to talk to people. So it's just
Now,
it just
I've
comes
watched some of your other videos, and like you said, a lot of them are interviews, totally different format. Can you take us back to the moment where you said to yourself, I need to do this Japan video? Where did that inspiration come from? And then did you storyboard it? Did you script it? Or did it just kind of come out of you? How did that happen?
Oh, it came out of me. It just came out of me because every travel experience is like a memory that never goes away from me. I hold it so dear to heart. So, I thought about this. Like, I contacted a friend that knows a friend, and they do video editing. And I said, listen, this is my story. I just want people to hear this thing. And these are the videos I have. This is that. Could you just compile it, do something about it? And that was it. I just wrote a story. I wrote a story that was fresh in my memory. And I'm telling you, the Japan trip was back in 1997.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
24 years ago.
Oh, no, sorry, 1998, right after my first child was born.
Mm-hmm. Still,
Yes.
That's 23 years ago. That's a long
Yes,
time. And it
exactly.
still sits inside you so powerfully.
It does. It does. I hold it so dear to heart because I was contemplating on either doing the one for Bratislava, which is pretty much close to Croatia, or the Japan one. And I thought, you know what? Japan is not talked about so much as a touristic place. So why don't I put that out there? So Thia's way of travel and Thia's way of talking about travel happens to focus more on places that are less talked about when it comes to travel. And so I picked Japan.
So, would you say that when it comes to attracting clients, that's who you're looking for? You're looking for people who don't necessarily want to go to Cancun. They're looking for the lesser known, open me up to something new, Thia experience.
Yes, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, I don't mind if you want to go to Cancun.
Right.
But my thing is, if you're going to go to Cancun, make sure to make the journey itself your home. No, don't just go to Cancun for photo shoots. Go to Cancun to experience the people, experience the land, even try to pick one or two phrases of their language. Go to the locals, hear what they have to say. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, because sometimes, finances come into play as well. If you say, oh, let's go all the way to the Middle East, or let's go all the way to Asia, might get expensive. My thing about travel and planning travel packages is wellness, mindfulness, authenticity, and lifestyle, all incorporated in it.
Well, I'm going to just quickly go back. Let me go back to sharing. And you can start to take a look at some of Thia's other. Let's click back one page to go to the master page. There we are. As Thia just said, look how much of her content is about wellness. Thia, do you ever get people immediately clicking over to your website from your YouTube channel? They see something and then they try to contact you. How are you using it? I'm going to go to your about page. So there you can see Thia has got all of her URLs up there. So she's trying to encourage people to come on over. And for business inquiries, there you go. You can click on and email her. How is it doing in getting that kind of dialogue going?
Well, it's I would say it's a bit strenuous because people have to be looking for your specific kind of content.
Yes.
So what I do on YouTube, of course, is to be able to lure people to my website,
Right.
but also is more of an information for people. And if it's something that you desire or want, just click on those links. Have I received calls or inquiries from YouTube? Yes, a whole lot. I must confess, like they look at my Blend with the Local video and immediately they click on it and they inquiry, inquiring about what and how they could do it. Sometimes it's not even necessarily for them to book a vacation with me, but they want consultation, for me to explain the process to them and to guide them through the process. So I give clients and potential clients options when it comes to working with me.
And Thia's pointing out a very important consideration for all of us, which is just because someone doesn't buy from you immediately doesn't mean you have not made an impact on them in some way, that when they are ready to purchase, they may be more inclined to work with you than an OTA or another travel advisor, because the medium that we're using right now, where you can see my face, you can hear my voice, you can meet Thia, even if it's not live, if it's recorded, we can all still pick up cues from another person that help that know, love, and trust move faster than a static image on a website or a Facebook post. And for people to really get intentional about working with you, it's so important that there be some video of you somewhere where you're courageous and vulnerable and talking about yourself, because there's enough people out there who are going to connect with you that are then potentially going to become clients. And that's when the money starts to come in.
I totally agree with that. I do have quite a few videos of Thia's personal experiences. Say, for instance, in Dominican Republic, Punta Cana is a favorite place of mine to visit, and of course, I think Amsterdam, the Netherlands. So those kind of stories are, I call them tales. Those are my tales, and people relate to them, and people watch them, and people enjoy them, and they go, "Oh, I never saw so and so place like that. This is a different way for them to see those places." So it's a matter of just luring them or encouraging them to watch the videos. Once they see it, then they begin to think about the video and think about the experiences that they might be able to get from the information you are giving them.
And Thea, again, just pointed out a very critical thing for entrepreneurs to understand, that when Thea travels, she travels her unique way. She travels in the way that's natural to her. And if she's filming it and she's putting herself out there in that very natural individual way, then she's going to stand out from everybody else. I see too many travel advisors either going on fam trips or personal trips, and they're just reading us the litany of what they're seeing. I'm standing in front of a castle in Bratislava, and it's 750 years old, and it sits above the Danube River. And okay, that's a nice travel log. Thank you very much. But why would I buy a vacation that takes me to Bratislava from you? Where is your unique approach to traveling in that part of Europe? And how are you going to draw me into your specific sphere of influence? Thia's doing that. She's very personable and very much herself in a way that it's not, the Rick Steves travel log, although even Rick Steves is a little unique to other travel writers. That just comes naturally to you.
It does. I think it's sales is one thing, but enjoying what you do is a different thing altogether.
Yes.
If the focus for you is to make money, then I don't know how many people will be connected to you.
I agree, because you know, everybody knows that you're a business owner. I mean, it says Thia's Travel Services. It's not Thia's vlog or something. So they understand they're visiting a business owner's page, but yet they're getting that subtle marketing and sales pitch. And that is the power of storytelling, is without us even knowing it, a well-told story draws us into wanting to do business with somebody. I purchase tons of services for different products, mostly from corporations. And I have no loyalty to any of them. If I wanted HubSpot, Constant Contact, ConvertKit, whatever, most of them are pretty similar. There's slight differences, but there's no personality. Therefore, there's no loyalty from Richard. It's price and functionality. We're humans, all of us. And when we're planning an important vacation, an expensive vacation, it's a huge investment for us. Most of us want to kind of know we're putting that investment in the hands of somebody we kind of like, and maybe is even a little bit like us. Maybe that's the reason why. We may not even know it, but it happens with great storytelling. So where do you think you're going next with your YouTube channel, Thea? Do you have a plan? Is it going to just be organic like you're doing now? What's the next phase for you?
Well, I'm hoping, or Thea is hoping to be able to connect with companies that I sell their products and make storytelling out of it for them.
Excellent idea.
That's where Thea is going. I've been able to so far connect with a few, and I'm going to be scripting it. And but of course, this is me. Authenticity is a big deal for me. So I would not just stand up and talk about a story that I haven't experienced. So before I tell a story, I would have to go and visit and see, so that when I put it out there, it just comes out naturally, just like I've done in almost all my videos.
Two really great tips that Thea just gave you. Number one, do not think of your video as only for the people who are purchasing from you. There are business development managers, directors of sales, VPs of sales with the suppliers and the destinations that you may want to sell. They too will be drawn in the same way that your clients, your sales prospects will be drawn in if they get to meet you. That's why it's so important that we go to conferences and trade shows, because then we have that one-on-one. And now all of a sudden a supplier might get that jolt of lightning. Oh, I want to work with them. And that bonds that relationship. The second point that Thea just made very subtly is the criticality of taking intentional fam trips. Don't just take a fam trip for a product that you don't really have any interest in, because then you're not going to tell great stories. You're probably not going to be deeply invested in it. And time is money. If you spend time plus some money going to that fam trip, was that really a wise use of your energy and your resources? Thea, without tipping us off, where do you think you'd like to go next? And are you going to be, is it all going to be done on your phone? How are you going to be doing all this? Are you investing in equipment to make your videos better?
Well, I mean, I have a camera, and I also have an iPad. I have an iPhone. So I have all three that you need, right?
Yes, you do.
So, I mean, next place I really want to go is Africa. I'm not sure yet, but I have very intentional plans for Africa. It's not, I think the safaris and things like that are covered more than the inhabitants. And I think, I believe Africa needs to be shown more and clearly of what Africa truly is and the people truly are. So my next stop will be Africa. I just came back from Costa Rica and I did a video on that. It's the very latest one. Take a look at it.
I will. Do you know Rosalind Parker in Fort Lauderdale? Rosalind is a travel advisor. She runs her own business down there. She's got great deep contacts in Africa, and she feels like you do that the safaris grab the huge portion of the attention in our travel industry, and therefore all the photos and the video, the stock footage. But so little do we as travel industry experts tell the full story of the continent and what the people are like and what the food is like and what the cultures are like. We do a poor job of that. So you got to meet Rosalind, because I think she's going to want to connect with you.
Well, I would love to connect with her. You said Rosalind Parker. Maybe you can
Yes.
connect her with, maybe you can do something about
I
that
will.
later.
I will connect the two of you on Facebook. I'll introduce you after we get off the call.
That will be awesome. Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
fits into your brand.
I'm sorry.
It fits into your brand that you're not going to just take people to Amsterdam. You're going to take them to your Amsterdam. You're not just going to take people to Africa. You're going to take them to places where you're saying, this is what makes my heart sing.
Yes. Yes. I mean, Thia's Travel Services is truly all about transformational,
Right.
travel. It's not, back in the days where we have to all get dressed to go on vacation. These days, I don't pack and get dressed to go on vacation. I pack and get ready mentally and psychologically to embrace the people of the land. That's my motive.
I am 100% there with you. That is the way I love to travel. I am not a bucket list traveler. I do not need to capture all the iconic images. I will, if I'm in Greece, I will go to the Acropolis and obviously take pictures up on the top of the mountain. But getting to meet the people and the flavors and really feel the Greek culture, that gets me excited.
Yes, it is. It is.
As we wrap up, Thea, we've got about 4 more minutes. If there's one thing that you just prominently feel about video as a medium for telling stories and getting your brand out there powerfully, is there anything either we haven't discussed that you'd like to talk about, or something you'd like to reiterate from something we've said up till now, the essence of what video storytelling is to you?
Well, something I would like to reiterate from what we talked about earlier, and then combining it with storytelling. We all, each and every one of us, have a story. It's just told different ways, just like looking at a picture and describing it in different words, and different people will do the same. So my little thing is, whenever you travel, make the journey your home. Forget about where you're coming from. Forget about anything you have heard. Be in the journey. Embrace the land. Appreciate them for even letting you in. Because with that, gratitude opens up, and we tend to be united somehow, knowing that we're not far off after all.
Yes. And I can't add much more to that, but what Thea just said reminded me of a post in the Facebook page of Humans of New York. There was a gentleman who's an emergency responder, maybe a month and a half ago. If you see the photo of this guy, you would think he was Vinny from the Bronx. But here's this guy who tells his story about how travel has transformed him, because when he does travel, he goes and he lets the land take over, just the way Thea said. He goes and is totally open to where he's going to, and he brings so little of his New York City upbringing with him. He just wants to be in the moment. So Thea is so right. I think I lost her, but she is so right in the power of video storytelling, and how, as you travel, you can replicate what you've seen today. And if you go to her page and absorb some more of it, you can replicate that with some very simple steps. Just listen to what Thea said. Go without the baggage that we bring from our own environment. Be ready to embrace and be completely open to where you're going, and just let the story unfold. So with that, I don't think I'm going to get the chance to say goodbye to Thea, because I think we lost her on our internet connection. Thea, thank you so much if you're watching. This has been exactly what I thought it was going to be, having seen 2.5 minutes of your storytelling video about transformational travel. You are the essence of what you published in that video. And that is an amazing and beautiful thing. Take care. We'll see you all next week. Diane Frisch is going to be talking about how to take better photos and video and tell better stories on fan trips. So perfect segue from Thia's discussion.